We actually have somebody from the
Okay,
Division of
that's awesome.
Childcare with us today, and that is Kayla Ruhrwein. So I'm going to let her take this first half of this, and then we'll come back and talk about a couple other things. All right, Kayla.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kayla Werwine with the Division of Childcare. I'm a professional development specialist, and I was very thankful to get this information from the COLT team so that I
Entonces, todo
could
bien.
share it with you. Today, we're going to go over just the COLT LMS overview, introduce the new COLT LMS, and just kind of align on what's changing between EC TRIS or KY TRIS and COLT. And then we're going to go over just a recap of messages that have been shared through the DCC listserv. And then we are going to do an FAQ. I'm sorry, that are some of the questions that you all submitted. And we'll look at those. And we are then going to kind of look at a day in the life of a trainer. We're going to show how an EC TRIS credential trainer can use the new LMS in practice. And we're going to highlight some upcoming training, communications, and support offered from the COLT team. So COLT is going to be our new learning digital hub for all of our training activities, including professional development registry, which is how EC TRIS is currently used. COLT does stand for the Commonwealth Offerings of Learning and Technology, the LMS system. And it's going to be bringing the older systems of DCBS TRIS and TRC portal and ECE TRIS to this new one place. So previously it was EC TRIS by itself. That's kind of combined to what we now call KY TRIS, and now KY TRIS is transitioning to COLT. So you will probably no longer hear ECE TRIS after the COLT shift, and it'll mostly be COLT. Like we said, it's moving to a single digital hub. It is a one-stop training hub. You can access, complete, and track trainings all on the system and reduce duplicates in keeping duplicate records. You're going to be able to quickly find training to see what's due next if you've enrolled in courses, and you can complete courses through their navigation, which is very clean, very simple to use. And there are going to be personalized learning paths. Depending on your role, these learning paths show training when training is needed and delivered in both synchronous instructor-led, trainer-led, and asynchronous through webinars or web-based trainings. And then there's going to be automated reporting and administration through the system, which you'll be able to run real-time reports as a learner or as a trainer for your learners. So we will be shifting to a KYID single sign-on to log into COLT. So don't have to worry about that right now, but you will be asked before the new system rolls out to create a KYID. It's currently called COG, but we'll be shifting to KYID account, and then COLT will be added to that as an application. COLT will provide specific steps for that at a later date. Now we're just going to review some of the DCC listservs that have went out. So first, they had their awareness campaign, which was moving that initial heads up that KY TRIS is moving to COLT. And that introduced the platform and just gave a little bit of information. Then there was an FAQ developed and sent out, again, just for kind of the introduction to COLT. And this kind of built a foundational understanding during the transition. And then the last DCC listserv that went out is who is representing you as a stakeholder for this COLT shift. And that talked about the different learner groups, and so trainers were included in that for DCC. If you have not received any of these communications, you definitely need to sign up for our DCC listserv, and you can do that just by emailing DCC listserv with your preferred email address. We have a list of FAQs, and these are the questions that were sent whenever you all registered for this webinar. we gave these to Colt to see if they could answer most of them. But if you have any additional questions after this presentation, please put them in the chat. We will again collect those questions and give them to the Colt team so that they can create a new FAQ to send out at a later date. So here's some frequently asked questions and their answers. First, what are the main differences between KY TRIS and Colt? So KY TRIS was made up of those three different systems: DCBS TRIS, TRC portal, and EC TRIS. The Colt LMS brings those portals together into one system, and then it's going to have a very updated look and feel for the new ways to sign in, new ways to complete training, new ways to submit and track training requirements, and to track your progress on Colt. Colt will also automate some of those tasks like enrollments and just some of those kind of day-to-day tasks that are right now currently done manually. Will my KY Trust username and password be the same for Colt? So no. Colt LMS learners will use a different username and password because KYID is going to be implemented. That will be your username and password for a single sign-on to access the digital platforms for Colt. So once you have that KYID account created, that will be your new username and password to log into Colt. Will my training records still be available after the move to from KY TRIS to Colt? Yes, after the move to Colt, learners will be able to view up to 5 years of the training history from KY TRIS. Specifically for ECE, we've made sure that orientation and pediatric abusive head trauma, if any of those are definitely included in the 5 years, but we've also asked to maintain record of those. So that is one area that we are making sure to keep a historical record of. If a trainer credential application, either initial application or renewal, has been submitted but is still in process when the transition occurs, so we do not have an official date yet for the transition of data, will a new application need to be submitted? Yes. If it's in progress, a trainer credential application will need to be resubmitted on Colt if it's in progress. As soon as we know a date on that transfer of information, then we will, of course, put that out through the DCC listserv so that we can make sure that we get the trainer applications cleaned up prior to that, so that we could just say, hey, wait until the new system so that you can put it on Colt as the renewal. So we'll communicate as we get closer to that time. In the Colt LMS, will there still be a course catalog? Or again, right now we call it the approved training calendar. And will I need the Colt LMS account to access it? So yes, the Colt LMS will have a course catalog, which is currently our approved calendar, but it does have a new name. Yep, a course catalog. And you will need a Colt LMS account to access it. Each training community will have its own catalog. So ECE will still be its own training community. And so you won't see DCBS trainings or FAP trainings. You'll still only see ECE trainings. And then some communities may have more than one catalog, such as external trainings or role-specific trainings, based on whatever the community needs are. Will existing approved trainings transfer to Colt LMS? So I know this has been a really big question. Yes, approved trainings in KY TRIS will transfer to Colt LMS. So if you already have trainings in there and they're in approval in TRIS for that amount of time, you don't have to worry about going in and re-entering those. Those will transfer over. I'm currently enrolled in several WBT courses in KY TRIS Moodle, and I've already started some of them. Will my enrolled or in progress status carry over to the Colt LMS? So again, this is specific to Moodle on TRIS, on EC TRIS currently. If you have or have started any courses in our TRIS Moodle, no, if you're enrolled or taking a WB web-based training course in Moodle, your progress will not carry over to the Colt LMS. So you have to complete any active KY TRIS Moodle courses before they become unavailable, and then those will be those will be available on Colt whenever Colt's live. So you could re-enroll to that WBT on Colt. But it'd be best if you get it completed before, if possible, because then it's just transferring over that training record. Are the forms in Colt LMS different from KY TRIS? So yes, and I'll be able to show you kind of what those look like in just a few minutes. The forms in the Colt LMS have an updated look, still all the same information, and are available electronically. Below, I'm sorry, when should a training request form be submitted? So submit training request forms for approval before the course is created in the Colt LMS and before the training is hosted. So this is something that is a little bit different, is that if you do plan on having a training, you would need to have it submitted through a training request form prior to that training occurring. And then which type of training will independent studies for EC learners use in COLT LMS? So independent studies are not going away currently. Independent studies will be listed as e-learning in the COLT LMS. Yes, number 9 is for all training types. Face-to-face or non-face-to-face trainings will have to have a training request form be submitted. Right, so as you think of any questions, you can always email those to the PD inbox, and I'll make sure that you all have that email at the end. Or while we're on here, you can include those questions here, and I'll make sure that they get to the correct team so that they can use those and answer those in a future FAQ. Okay, let's look at what COLT looks like. So when you log in, this will be the COLT LMS Learners Dashboard. This is a testing view, so it is subject to change a little between now and go live, but this is, this is the view for it right now. There is a user menu at the top left, and you'll be able to access areas such as the course catalog, my activities, which is like your own kind of reporting for your trainings, your forms, and other areas. In the My Current Trainings, it shows all trainings that you have associated with your account as the learner. So that may be something you're enrolled in or you have it in progress. And then you have an upcoming training calendar that will actually show with a little dots, like on day 14 there. It shows when you have upcoming instructor-led trainings or video instructor-led trainings, so webinars. And the learner is enrolled in with a specific start time or start date and end date. And then your account displays your profile information, and the My Gamification is how we've had to show badges. So there you can see, how many points you have toward a badge. And then there's a notifications display, and that's for system notifications. So if you are sent an email from the system, it'll be here in addition to your email. I believe DCC will have the ability to send out like system-wide messages, or if there's any outage messages, those would appear there. So this is the Forms tab. Whenever you need to submit a training request form, you would just hit the Forms button and this pop-up comes up, and it has the form type and then a small description of what that form is. You just select the one you need and hit Next. So here we have the training request form, ECE trainer credential form, and that includes initial or renewal. ITSA form is infant, toddler, school age credential form. Education and self-reported credentials, college coursework, scholarship application, and a training credit self-reporting form. So this is what it will look like for trainers submitting a training request form for the training to be approved. The submitter will be notified of updates or status of the training request form via email. So here you would just select first ECE, so early childhood educators. That is our training community. Enter in your training title, training description, learning objectives, training content type, and your training content category. Actually, I believe these two will go away, the content type and type subcategory, whenever you select ECE, because those are not something that we would require. These little I information bubbles, you can actually hover over them and they will give you some suggestions on how to create learning outcomes or training descriptions, which is really helpful. So once a training request form is approved by an administrator and it goes through the All-Stars Rater approval if you've requested All-Stars credit, then the course is available on the COLT LMS in the catalog. The EC credential trainer then can create a session and the session instructor can be added here. So you would assign it, if you were the trainer, you could assign it yourself as that trainer. But if you're like a training agency, for example, and you have multiple trainers, you could assign a trainer to that session. All training delivery methods, e-learning, including independent studies, instructor-led trainings, VILTs, which are virtual instructor-led trainings or webinars, are considered courses in the COLT LMS. So courses do not include specific dates or times. A session is a scheduled class or an ILT or the VILT course. Learners enroll in a session. So think about it as like a course shell, and that shell just has all of your information that's been approved on the training request form. But then your session is actually what people are going to enroll in. And so those sessions are added underneath of the course shell. The EC credential trainers must then create a new event, and that will also have a start time and end time, as well as a location or video conference. So an event is a single class meeting within a session in its own date or start time. Again, think about if you are the trainer and you've got your session, now you're going to create an event to say the date and time that this is occurring. Again, if this is a training agency who has multiple trainers, you may have two people who are running the same kind of session, but they have their own events. So and after the training event has finished, EC credential trainers must mark the attendance within 10 days and upload the sign-in sheet. So all of that is still the same. Attendees should have a COLT LMS account prior to the training and be searchable within the COLT LMS and have their attendance recorded. So a big thing for trainers is going to be ensuring that your trainees, the people who are attending your training, have a COLT account, or they have that created within 10 days of the training so that you can assign credit. If they do not, we don't have pending credit, and so they would not be able to be issued credit. You can also have self-enrollment be an option where you have it open for them to enroll into, and that ensures that they have a COLT account and that they are going in and enrolling themselves. So you kind of
Okay.
already have that done for you. And then the marking attendance is as easy as selecting present and the time and hours attended. And you can do multi-select or just single select. So hopefully that's a lot easier. So here's our next steps and what to expect. So again, we're preparing for late summer 2026 for a go live. Communications, learning opportunities, and support will build readiness and confidence before, during, and after the transition to COLT. There are going to be targeted updates, readiness checklist, and KYID specific instructions. Those will all be shared out through our DCC listserv. There will be specific role-based training opportunities for each learner group. So trainers will actually have their own specialized training courses, if you will, videos, and step-by-step guides specific for the trainer role that you all will have access to on Colt at all times. And then after that, post go live, Colt will still be offering support to answer questions and address any needs that we see come up as we learn this new system together. That is all I have. Does anybody have any questions? And if it's something that is not answered within the slides, you can put it in the chat and I can take those back. Or if it's something you'd like to see back from the slides, just let me know.
There's quite a few in chat already.
I'll have to look through here really quick. Let's see. I see Angel Kiplin has asked, all staff need to enroll in COLT. Yes, each staff member, if they're going to be taking training or giving training, will need to enroll in COLT. We won't have a report that I know of. That's a good question. I could definitely take that back.
Kayla, I can kind of help you out with the chat here. So somebody said, as a supervisor, can they pull up their staff's record?
I don't. Why don't we do this? Can I take all of these questions back and we'll kind of look through them, answer what we can, because we are going to send these slides out to all trainers. So we want to make sure that all trainers have access to this information, even if they didn't get to attend this trainer's connection. So I can answer the questions that I, confidently can answer from the slides provided. And then any other questions that I'm not able to answer, again, the COLT team has said they will plan another FAQ to be sent out in the future that will hopefully answer those questions.
Okay, thank you, Kayla. Um,
I have a question that you may be able to answer, Kayla. Hi, I'm Wanda Jean here in Jefferson County. As far as the calendar, so sometimes when people are finding my courses, they go into I used to go into Tris and see the offerings. Is there a page where people will see, the calendar of things that are happening for their region at any time? Do you have like a beta system that you have access to, or do we only have these slides to refer to today?
Yeah, we only have these slides to refer to today, right? But that's a great question, and I can take that one back if you don't
I'll
mind.
put it in the chat. I'll
Yeah,
put it in the chat
yep.
for you.
And so that'll be my plan. I'll look through these questions and answer what I can in a follow-up email that'll be sent out on the trainer listserv with these slides.
okay, thank you, Kayla.
Yeah.
We do just a couple of things that we want to pull up for you that's upcoming. Hang on just a second. I need to share my screen now. Are you guys able to see that okay now?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so just
Yes,
some upcoming. Okay, great. All right, just some upcoming things. Hang on just a second. But first, I actually want to introduce our brand new training coach for the Lakes region. Her name is Christy Jones, and here's some pictures of her. So it looks like she's got some cats and her family with her here. Christy, do you want to say a few words and say hello to everybody? She's still with us? Okay.
Okay, I'm here.
And
Sorry, it
oh,
wasn't unmuting. So, hello,
okay.
I'm Christy. Nice to meet you guys. I look forward to getting to know the Lakes area people. We do have a meet and greet scheduled at the end of the week for 3:30 on Thursday, I believe. So if you couldn't make it to Monday, maybe you can pop in on Thursday and I can meet my area people one-on-one. But I'll try to answer questions. And if I can't, I've got a great team behind me to go to and um, ask them your question. So.
Thanks, Christy. And she is a great asset to our team. So we're very lucky to have her. So. All right. Also coming up, our next trainer connection will be September 22nd. Of course, that is a Tuesday at 2 o'clock. And that is going to be on a gamified review of rules and regulations to being a credential trainer. So, that's the next one. And as always, you will get an email, to register for that from your, regional training coach. So just be on lookout for that. All right. And we just wanted to let you know that we actually have two FET fundamental effective training courses coming up in the near future. The fall one will begin on September 14th and we'll go through November 6th. That one will have an in-person day on October 22nd in Moorhead. And then a winter one, which will start in January, and end in February. And that one will be virtual. And we're just letting you know, we know that you guys, are all credentialed just in case you might have a coworker or somebody that might be interested in becoming a trainer. Just have them contact their training coach and we can get them taken care of. And lastly, we have a save the date for our first annual fall trainers retreat, which is actually going to be the day after our fall FET, and that one is going to be in Moorhead as well. This is going to be really fun. So, and you can actually get 5 clock hours of how to train adults. So, if you are getting ready to renew before the end of the year, this may be a great way for you to be able to get your hours. So just wanted to call that to your attention. You actually will get more information from your regional training coach and the registration link is coming soon. So be on the lookout for that. And I'd just like to take a minute to thank Kayla from DCC for joining us today. And hopefully, you guys have put your questions into the chat so that she can take those back and answer those for you. And we thank you for joining us today. I know it's a little short, but we can only answer what we can answer today from Kayla. So, is there any other questions besides something about Kentucky Colt that anybody has before we leave?
I also just want to include, I put our DCC PD staff at ky.gov email in there. That's our PD staff help desk. And so any questions you have that you think of over the next couple of weeks, feel free to email those questions to the PD staff inbox. That way we can collect those for the cult team. And then if you haven't already signed up for the DCC listserv, that's the other one, because that's where all of the communications are coming from in regards to cold is from our DCC listserv.
Yeah, and Kay, it looks like you will have lots of questions to go through once you get back.
That's okay. But we would rather
Yeah.
ask them now so that we can kind of get, a heads up on what the cult staff will need to kind of look at from that perspective. So yeah, any questions you have, you can put them here, or like I said, email the PD inbox.
And yes, you keep using ECE TRIS until the time that they say the transition's live. This is just the DCC trying to help us out with giving us a little bit of a heads up. A lot of this is still in development. So until you're told otherwise, you keep using ECE TRIS, but this is going to be some of the things to look forward with within the new Kentucky Colt system.
Somebody did ask how they would get the answers to the chat questions, and Kayla did say that they would be sending out an email with the frequently asked questions, so that they will answer. So be watching for that. Yeah, they're just going and going and going and going. All
I
right.
have a quick question. Have my hand up, but I wanted to know, and maybe this isn't the right call, but I had a couple of people just recently ask, "Oh, I want to start a childcare center. Where do I start?" And it's been a while since I've had to ask that question or answer it. Is there any specific guidance that you would give me to share?
Sure. Actually, those for getting started or opening a daycare center, that would be our child care aware health and safety coaches. And if they go to our child care aware website, and there's a little dot there that says find your coach, they can look up their county and then they can find out who that is, and the emails are there so that they can reach out, and phone numbers and things like that so that they can get a hold of them. But that's where you would send them, would be a health and safety coach.
How did I know you would know that? Thank you.
You're welcome. Any
And
other
also,
questions?
if they want to do a family child care home, they can go to the Family Child Care Network of Kentucky website. And they can help them with that for family child care certified or licensed.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you so
KG.
much.
And Ashley just put their website in the chat as well.
Any other questions? And Kayla just put our website in for us so that you can find your coach. Perfect. Thank you.
I had one question, please.
Okay.
Hi, darling. Okay, okay. So, so the trainers, the people that we're training, they need to be registered in COLT, correct? Is that what you're saying?
All
Correct.
users, yeah, all
Yep.
childcare providers, directors, training, anyone who is going to be taking trainings will need to be registered in COLT. Yes.
Okay. And so the directors all know, or do we tell them? Do we need to make that announcement when we do the training?
So I believe it was already sent out on one of the FAQs that all users would need an account, but there will definitely be more communication coming from DCC about when and how to sign up for that KYID account to get
Okay.
COLT added. But like Bambi said, we're kind of just waiting for the official date because they've not announced that yet. And, kind of the next steps. So as soon
Okay.
as we get it, we'll push it out.
But
Yes, ma'am.
it does sound like it will be good practice, especially for the first bit of the system going live, to tell the directors ahead of time, to, as a reminder, say, hey, if you want your people to get credit, you have to make sure they're in the system, because they may be used to that pending credit thing, and that's not going to be an option. So as a trainer, that's definitely a good conversation piece to have with them.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, well, it looks like you guys are going to get about 25 minutes more left in your day than you were expecting. And thank you guys for being here today. We appreciate you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
this was a good crowd. Thanks for
Thank
coming,
you.
everyone.
Thank
Stay
you all.
tuned.
Thank you. Thank you.